Welcome back to the Film Cynics on C-FAX 1070. We're sitting talking about comic books and movies with Gareth Gaudin from Legends Comics. If you want to talk to us or cough up your 2 cents or whatever, you can call us at 250-386-1161 or star 1070 on your cell. Or hey, if you want to get a primer on what the heck we're talking about, you can come and check us out on thefilmcynics.com/blog. We got a little primer on the 3 comic books that we're talking about, and maybe we're going to talk about some more stuff as we go along. But we're right in the middle of talking about Kick-Ass. Now, this movie is coming out in April. It's directed by Matthew Vaughn, who people might not know who this guy is, but he's directed 2 very successful smaller films, Stardust, which was based on a graphic novel by my favorite author, Neil Gaiman. And he's also directed A Layer Cake, which was something that Guy Ritchie actually passed on. And so, as his producer from Snatch and Lock, Stock, Matthew Vaughn stepped in and decided to direct Layer Cake, which is why everybody sees Daniel Craig as James Bond now. So, yeah. I mean, this guy has got this power to sort of make amazing things happen. And so now he's grabbed on to this this great comic book series by Mark Millar called Kick-Ass, and we're excited about what he's going to do with it.
Very.
So yeah, we've got a character in there that everybody's been talking about by Chloe Moretz, Hit Girl.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the trailer for Kick-Ass, you should go out and watch it now. But the one thing that really stands out to a lot of people, especially in the Red Band trailers, which are the R-rated trailers, is that the character of Hit Girl is played by Chloe Moretz, and she's like a 12-year-old girl or something in the movie. And she's probably the most violent killer in all these scenes. And a lot of people I've talked to, it's kind of rubbed them the wrong way. And like, why is a girl saying the things that she says in these trailers and doing what she does? And I've never read the comics, so I don't really understand the world which it's created. And is there like, when you read it, is it really realistically how that character Hit Girl is developed?
Oh, it's line for line. The comic has this. I think I read it as she was 9, and her dad, who's Nicolas Cage, is wanting to raise his daughter as, you know, an assassin. So in one of the trailers, he's saying, "What do you want to do? Want to go for ice cream later? But first, well, just stand back 20 feet. This is going to sting a bit. I'm just going to shoot you in the chest." And she's knocked over and making sure her bulletproof vest works. And she just shows up in gangsters' lairs, and they think she's a 9-year-old kid and let her in. But she has swords and the ability to do backflips while slicing your head off. It's the most over-the-top violence, that I've ever witness to.
I'm not really sure if I would go out and say that, like, she seems like maybe she's cuckoo bananas, but I'm pretty sure that, like, from my impressions from at least to the trailers, because I haven't read the comic book either yet, that Big Daddy is probably pretty crazy. Yeah,
there's the only difference between the comic and the movie apparently is that Big Daddy, her father, who's Nicolas Cage in the movie, who he better win an Oscar for. It's apparently his best role he's ever done. He's thrilled. Everyone who sees it is Nicolas Cage redeemed in the eyes of the public.
Oh, Brian, I'm so happy for you. Brian's been waiting for redemption.
I went on record like a year ago saying that I'm a big fan of Nicolas Cage, and Steve won't let me live it down.
Really?
So every time he comes up in a movie, I get bugged.
He brought it up in the context of Ghost Rider.
Okay, well, fair enough. Nicolas Cage is one of the biggest comic collectors in the world. He only acts in these movies to pay for his comics.
He named his son after Superman. His son's name is
he's
Kal-El.
named after a comic character, Luke Cage, Power Man.
That's how he...
Because his name's Nicholas Coppola.
Yeah.
He just didn't want to be known as one of the Coppolas, so he changed his name.
Anyways.
So Hit Girl is written as a really... you love her. She's great. She's not insane. Obviously, she's crazy,
right?
Because her father's raised her as such. But she's really sympathetic. She's sweet. She knows that she's not going to hurt anyone except for these bad people.
Right.
So it's... comic books have a reputation as having violence in them, some of them, because over the years, I'm sure they have. But this one takes it a little step further.
Well, yeah, it was part of Mark Millar's mission was to actually make something really, like, you want ultra-violence? Well, here's some ultra-violence.
And it takes usually a Scottish writer to get these American comics right, because there's a hint of irony that the Americans might not get, because it's their own characters. So Mark Millar and Grant Morrison, they show up and rewrite these American icons beautifully.
Well, now, if you're going to compare Kick-Ass, who's, I mean, is his own thing, and he's this perpetual character that's ongoing. My understanding is they're going to keep putting out issues.
Yep.
But do we compare him to somebody else? Is he analogous to another superhero like Daredevil or something like that?
He could be. You could picture him as Spider-Man if Peter Parker decided to be a crime fighter before getting bitten by the spider.
Right.
So he's just, this bookworm who is getting bullied and picked on, decides to take matters into his own hands anyways.
So he's not a sadist, though. He's not out to hurt people, really. Because his motivation really is to help.
To help, yeah. He's just sick of playing video games. So he wants to see if he can put these theories that he's read so many comics. He's read the entire history of the Marvel Universe. So it's a character that in a comic book, that in his world, these comic books exist. So he's read all these things. And what do you do with this information? And if you follow certain line of thought, you act on them.
Well, a quick question: Brian. How dark is the tone of the comic?
Not dark. It's not dark at all. It's very funny.
Okay, and because the movie trailer you've seen is cut like a comedy at most of the time.
It is. It is certainly a comedy.
Okay,
but it's taken seriously because the writing isn't making fun of anyone. It's just if one thing's different. If a guy decides to be a crime fighter, the series of events that happen, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. It's not like there's no fantasy in it at all.
All right. Sounds good. I'm excited.
Yeah,
it's very fun.
I'm more excited.
I'm not sure. I mean, not that I care about these kinds of things, but a backlash. I mean, if it is really violent and there are young kids that are using words that would make my mother blush. So yeah, I don't know if there's going to be.
Well, that's the one problem that I've seen with it so far is that the trailer, the general trailer, kind of paints it as this like, hey, fun family action movie.
Right.
But when you really dig into it and start watching the Red Band trailers, it's not for everybody.
There's a few swear words and there's over-the-top violence. But, there's violence on the news that is way worse. This is cartoon violence. And I hope it doesn't inspire anyone to be a superhero.
Well, okay, so we had 3 movies that we talked about. So yeah, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, it's still in production.
Comes out in August, I believe.
And The Losers, which is still being advertised in theaters right now. And Kick-Ass, and that comes out April 11th, if I'm not mistaken.
That's pretty soon.
And yeah, I'm very excited.
Start camping out now.
Yeah, well, if it dazzles the way I think it will, maybe I'll name my next daughter, who arrives in May after Hit Girl. What's her actual character?
Hit. Just Hit.
Really?
No. Was it Chloe? No, that's the actress.
That's the actress's name. But maybe Chloe's not a bad name.
Chloe's a great name for a girl.
We'll see how.
Did you hear that, Angie?
Goes.
We just named your daughter.
Okay, well, we're going to take a news break. We'd like to very much thank Gareth Gaudin for joining us. Thank you very much. We'll hope we have you back very soon.
Anytime. I'm just across the street.
Right on. Yeah, well, Gareth works down at Legends Comics. You should go down and check out the selection. We're going to take a news break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the top 5 comic book writers that deserve an Oscar. Stay with us.